Hello and welcome to the Game House's third episode of Dorm Chats, where we go around talking to the who's who of college esports. I'm your host, Robert Haynes, and joining me is Cole Gibson of Georgia State University. Thank you for being on with me today. How's it going, Cole?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Absolutely, and hopefully it's a little warmer for you guys down in Georgia.
No, it's not. We're actually getting a cold advisory tonight. It's supposed to be freezing temperatures. So it's not getting any better down here.
I guess the United States is just going cold right now.
What I tell people is I'm like the people that were all global warming and saying it was too hot asked for this. So now they need to be happy and satisfied because it's here.
It is cold. It is chilly outside. So Cole is a newer type of guest for us. He's the manager of the League of Legends squad for Georgia State. And we're gonna start with just kind of how'd you get into esports? What made you want to be involved with it?
It actually started for me all the way back in 2011, 2012. I was playing Call of Duty, and I remember watching MLG Columbus, and that's where I discovered my fandom for Optic Gaming. And I was just like, at first, I wanted to be a player, and I was like, this is something I can totally do. I play games all the time. My parents worry about me, so it's right up my alley. And it just sort of over time evolved into from being a player to just like being a spectator with League of Legends and other esports, and then I want to be a caster. And right now, my entire goal is kind of I want to dabble in everything, so that when I do get the opportunity to graduate and join the esports industry, there's nothing that they can say that I can't do. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
That's a really good thought process there, and I think for other students, that's a good thing to keep in mind because the esports industry is so young, so being well rounded definitely gives you that advantage. Coming out of school because I don't know, are you graduating with a journalism degree or something like that?
Oh yeah, I'm graduating with a bachelor's in journalism
Okay,
this coming December. So
nice. That's awesome. Well, congratulations. And yeah, it's a and I'm sure when you started, you didn't anticipate, potentially, esports journalism. I don't even think that was really offered, for most schools.
oh yeah, no. I when I first started, like I said, it was player first, and then when I realized that playing wasn't going to happen because I was one of the sad cases where my parents actually would not let me take my uh, Xbox with me to school, so it kind of cut my Call of Duty days short. I found League of Legends, but I realized I wasn't good enough at it to play it, and that's when I was like, I need to find something else I want to do because I love doing this. It's my passion, and I don't want to be just restricted to playing. So that's when I thought esports journalism maybe, and I actually did an internship for it, but it was on my own. Like you said, there was no esports journalism classes
Yeah.
at the school I went to for my first year of college. There wasn't even a journalism program, so it was a lot
Oh
of
wow.
on my own stuff. And then from there, just kind of branched out into other fields like casting, commentary, management, and things of that nature.
Absolutely. And with us being journalism, we totally encourage that. It's good. It's really good that that's what you're looking into. And that I mean that actually answers one of my questions because I was going to ask you, what made you decide to be a manager? But I'm going to switch it a little bit to why League of Legends. If you came in with a passion for Call of Duty, why did you decide? Okay, I think League of Legends is where I'm going to go.
Well, it's a good question because it started off as it was something that it was a game my brother introduced me to, and I didn't even know there's an esports scene for it. It was just something where it was like, well, I can't play Call of Duty anymore, but I want to still play games. What can I play that's free that I can play at any time? And League
Yeah.
of Legends was it. And so started off, and I was like, I don't get it. I watched some LCS matches. I was like, this is a lot. But then the more I played it, the more I fell in love with League of Legends and just it's complex, and yes, I'm bad at it, but it's so much fun to watch. And if you understand the game at a higher level, you might not have the mechanics, but if you understand it even somewhat, it can be such a joy to be a part of. And so I was like, this is where I want to make my bread, my living is in League of Legends. And then from there was, you know, uh, how can I do this? And it was like, well, I'll be a caster commentator. But as we saw with the recent sort of Twitter discussion about how it's hard to get into the upper echelons, I was like, well, I need to find more angles to get in this because you don't want to ever uh, focus on something too hard and not leave your options open and end up getting blocked and just miserable for the rest of your life. She's like, well, I put all my money and all my eggs in this one basket. So I said, well, I'll do management because I come from a management background. My dad did business management in his early days in the workforce. My mom as well. So I come from that background. And I was like, I do have an eye for organization, so let me see what I can do there. And that's how, eventually I became the team manager of Georgia State League of Legends team. I also manage another amateur esports team at the same time. Just a little side stuff. But that's how I kind of fell into that, was
Absolutely.
just looking for stuff to do, and my passion was League of Legends. So,
Well, if you don't mind me asking, which amateur team are you helping with?
oh, it's called Upsurge Esports.
Yep.
We run a tournament that a lot of people out there might know about, with the uh, Premier League, our Premier League,
Yep.
Developmental League, and Minor League. And so I'm the director of their esports branch. So we're trying to kind of branch out beyond just tournament host and into actually fielding teams. So that's what I'm there for.
Nice. Yeah, we actually had a team in the first season.
Oh wow, cool. What,
So,
what was the team name?
Game House GG. We were in it for a little while,
Uh,
but it sadly dissipated, as a lot of esports programs are right now. But
yeah.
we're looking to get back into it at some point. I still actually have your guys' Discord, so
Oh, cool. You should hop in, and I'm always looking for people to play PUBG and be bad at it with. So,
oh
and
good,
other
because
things.
I'm not
So,
good either. So we can both be bad together. Um, that's awesome. So what was kind of the selection process like for you becoming the manager of Georgia State, League of Legends squad?
Well, it started off with, well, you have to meet the requirements of being a student, meaning you have to have at the very least, 6 hours or more at Georgia State of taking classes. You also have to have a GPA. I believe it used to be, with the players, it used to be 3.0, but they lowered it for management. So you have to have at least a 2.0 to a 2.5, I believe, to join the admin and staff for the esports program. And then there is a application and interview process. And I was one of the lucky people. I think I might have been one of the only people that applied as far as like manager
Mm-hmm.
position. Or actually, well, no, let me revise that. I went about that story wrong, because I actually started off as the assistant coach.
Okay.
And what happened was, we have this other guy. I love him. He's a great friend of mine. His name is Mohammed bin Jalhan. If anyone wants to go and try and find him on social medias. And I recognized that he and our head coach invested a lot more time into the game and understood it at a higher level than I did. And I was the head coach of the team the last year, and I was like, I'm not going to let myself and wanting to still be a part of that aspect of the team get in the way of our success. So I went to Lucas. I was like, hey, how about we move Muhammad up to assistant coach? I can be team manager and handle all the admin front office stuff that our head coach was having to deal with, that was kind of stopping him from being the best he could be. And I can feel that niche that we need, and they can go into it as a duo and hopefully, better coach the team and amplify our results.
Absolutely, and that's a really great point, and I think that it's the reason why I was going to ask you the question about being a manager is it feels like everybody wants to be involved, be that player, but they don't understand that you need that kind of managerial experience, those kind of um, the ability to field a team, right, and to do all the paperwork and to make sure that you're getting the brand out there and everything like that. So that's really cool that you're doing that. You know, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. We're gonna talk kind of more about the overall scene. Um, I don't know if you saw or not, but Riot put some money into the Big Ten and made a
Right.
a big announcement about it. Um, I know you guys are part of the Georgia Esports League as well. I mean, are you guys hoping that Riot will get involved with your guys' league or with your guys' university by itself, or do you not really expect um, something like something like that to happen?
Well, funny story about that is, we were about to, if you also read about the Peach Belt Conference
I did.
partnership, we thought we were going to be in that, but they actually was a typo that they got us wrong, because we were in the Sun Belt, and Riot thought we were in the Peach Belt. So
Oh
we got
no.
that all straightened out. But I feel like it's very optimistic for the future, that, I like the idea of partnerships. I know a lot of
Hmm.
people have been advocating for not allowing the NCAA to take over collegiate esports, and I'm one of those people, for a number of reasons. But to stay on topic, I think the more I hear about these partnerships and how they work, the more I'm liking the idea. And excuse me, I'd love for the Sun Belt Conference to make a partnership. The only thing is, I think that there needs to be more Sun Belt teams with League of Legends programs
Hmm.
behind it. I don't know the exact number right now, but I don't think that the Sun Belt has a lot of teams that have esports programs, while like the Peach Belt, they had about 11, 12 colleges there that all have esports programs that agree to do this. And I think once you get more schools involved, more partnerships will be formed. And I think that can be definitely something that Georgia State would look forward to.
Absolutely, and it's interesting because I've talked to people from Miami University, and they've said the same thing. You know, they on our one of our other episodes we talked a little bit about it, and we know like Akron just got a team, and so they're wondering and hoping maybe other um, MAC teams will want to be involved. So uh, it's interesting to see how people want to keep the NCAA out, and I agree with that too. Personally, I can understand why people want to keep them out. At the same time, the organization that they bring is incredible, and it's interesting to see your perspective from it. You're the first one that's kind of had that, I guess that side of understanding that you want it to have the organization, but not necessarily with the NCAA. So I think that's really interesting. With that being said, you mentioned it a little bit, and I'd love to hear you keep going on it. What do you think the next steps for college esports are?
I think the next steps for college esports is establishing itself as the path to pro. Because right now there's a basically a gigantic gap between thanks to franchising, people that are into the scene either through the academy team on the LCS starting roster or coming in for the scouting grounds, and then there's just sort of like a fall off where no one knows how you make your way to pro other than just I guess keep grinding out the ladders.
Mm-hmm.
And I think where college esports will thrive is just like how college sports thrives is they thrive by being not only entertaining but also being a path to pro, giving a lot of people an early look at these young players. And I think, once college esports can do that reliably without too much red tape and restricting players from doing things they love like streaming and so on and so forth, that's the next step. That's the really only other step that can be because I don't think the NCAA will allow colleges to start making too much money without its influence. So if we don't find another reason to exist other than for entertainment and bringing in money for the program and for the players, then eventually NCAA will find its way in, and that's when people will, the scene I think will just kind of die with the NCAA's influence.
That's an interesting perspective. We've actually lost your camera.
Oh yeah, I hit a button and it turned off.
That's all right. Um, so I would then follow up that with, again, I've talked with, you know, so far on this series, I've talked with Columbia College and Miami University, and both of them have actually said differently. The a total 180. They don't think that it's possible for college to do the same thing as it does in traditional sports because of the age requirements. And I am actually of the same belief as you that I think that it could be that way. Explain to me, I guess, why you think that the age part won't play as much of an influence as what others have said.
Well, I think it's because some people don't understand that the rules that have been a part of the NCAA have been so long lasting that people forget that they're actually pretty flexible kind of when it comes to rules. Like as people might have seen in the news recently how they're basically lifting or thinking about lifting the age restrictions on college basketball and how they're like, oh, you had to go play basketball in college first and then go to the pros. They're now thinking about changing it up. So basically, and all that's around, age requirements,
Yeah.
understanding how old you have to be to actually enter the draft and so on and so forth. So I think that there's a lot of flexibility that people don't think is there. And you
Okay.
just have to give the NCAA a reason to be flexible. And I think as time goes by, we'll give them more and more reason to be flexible around things like Title IX and such. Because I don't even think it's really the age thing. It's just that the NCAA doesn't want students making money without their knowledge or without their consent. And I don't see it as an age problem really in my mind. But if it's an age problem to them, then yeah, the NCAA is actually quite flexible if you give them a reason to. I know
Okay.
that was kind of a weird ever answer, but
No, no, that
yeah.
makes sense. I can see that happening as well, and we will see what happens with the NBA, because ultimately they'll have to come to that conclusion with um, the NCAA. So we'll have to see what kind of relationship, because there's no way the NCAA is not trying to get involved right now.
Right,
And
right.
I'm sure you probably know that as well.
Yeah.
So, back to you guys. What are some goals that you have going into 2018? It's still early. We're only a couple weeks in. Semesters started or getting ready to start, right?
Yeah, it began last week.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
although we haven't really had too many classes because they shut down the city for the national championship,
Yep.
so I've only actually been to like one class in the last 2 weeks.
That's insane. That's awesome.
Atlanta stuff, man. I don't question it anymore. I'm just like, okay, well, whatever. So.
Well, that's good. Yeah. So, I mean, again, with that, what are your guys' plans for 2018?
For 2018 right now, there's the obvious one, which is to win. Like last
Hmm.
year, we got stopped by NC State
Hmm.
in the I want to say the semifinals of our regionals.
Yeah.
So working toward that final spot. So we definitely want to make it past our last year's finish. But beyond that, for the entire program, we want to create a environment where everyone can learn how they fit into the esports industry, how they fit into the space, whether that's administration, event planning, journalism, casting, playing. And we want to do it with a family atmosphere. We don't want it to be like, okay, you kind of come in, figure it out. And we're just kind of like shipping you out, shipping out people like a system. We want everyone to feel like there's a family that they're a part of and can come back to once they graduate. And we just want to make sure that people can take advantage of the growing esports industry because there aren't a lot of schools out there that have programs that are not just focused on winning, but also focused on making sure that everyone who's a part of the program can capitalize on it as a career. Not
Yeah.
just, oh, you're helping the program now, but then once you leave, it's kind of done. We want this to be a career building program where people come in, learn the ropes. So, okay, this is how you organize a team. This is how you organize, plan an event. This is how you produce a stream, and this is how you cast that stream. Things of
Interesting.
that nature.
That's great. Yeah. Some, non-player, I guess, experiences, which is that's a unique perspective, one that I've not heard before. So I think that's a really awesome thing that you guys are doing down there.
Right. And don't get me wrong, like we want to win. We have our head coach,
Hmm.
who used to be our captain last year. We have the entire coaching staff set up. Right now, to my knowledge, scrims are going very well. So we're set to, you know, be highly competitive this year of the collegiate series. But, at the same time, we recognize and a lot of the staff recognize that it's just bigger than that. It can't just be about the competition because that's where we see a lot of faults in traditional sports where you talk about player health and other things and
Hmm.
collegiate players is a lot of issues with the collegiate scene right now in sports is that, hey, if you enter school, a lot of times if you're on that starting roster, a lot of these players are in it to go big or go home. We're
Yeah.
going to the league or not, and then that's how you get players that when they don't go to the league have to go, they take a lot of classes and things that they're not interested in, like sports, you know sciences and stuff like business admin. You see a lot of the sports guys in like business and stuff like that. It's almost
Yeah.
like a fail safe. But we don't want it to be this be like a fail safe for you where you come here to play and win, but then after this you have nothing left. We want you to come in and know that you have a nice 5 to 10 year plan future ahead of you thanks to our program and interacting with us.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think that that's something, that actually can lead me into my next question for high schoolers who are wanting to get involved with college esports programs. What is your advice for them, and what about your program in specific, or specifically, excuse me, should attract them?
Um, Advice for them to get involved is just contact us. Like you can hit me up. You can hit our head coach, Andy Jesperson. You can always contact anyone in our upper echelon of staff, as far as our director, David Cheshire, Jason O'Toole. Just reach out. Now, I'm not going to say, I believe we are planning an event for this spring, and we will also be, planning more outreach programs in the future. But until those materialize, just reach out to us. I'm more than happy to talk to any high schoolers that want to think about playing for the team. In fact, we recently talked to Lambert High School, where I recently emailed them to possibly set up scrims. So as long as you reach out, we will always be open to responding to you and getting you involved in the program early. Um, and as far as what we offer, just openness. We're probably the most open school you can reach. We're in the middle of downtown Atlanta. It's you walk into downtown Atlanta, you've walked onto Georgia State, and you can always walk into a building. We're at 25 Park Place. It's a little bit 25 Park Place, second floor. There's a door you got to walk through but there's signs that point you in our direction. You can always come in and talk with somebody and they'll get you pointed the right direction. We're very open and we're very, very open to new faces and people that want to be a part of the Georgia State esports family.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And I think people in the Atlanta area should definitely be looking for you guys. Can you give us just kind of where we can find you, on social media and on the interwebs?
Um, sure. On Twitter, I believe I am at the culture underscore live. Live is fully capitalized.
Hmm.
And on Facebook, it's just Cole Gibson. I have the picture of me. I believe it's me and my girlfriend for anyone that wants to know, so you can differentiate. Because I know there's like thousands of Cole Gibsons out there. And then Instagram, I'm at commentator underscore perch. Do I use any other social media? Am I that secluded from the world? I think that's about it for everything I actually use. So if you want
Okay.
to catch up with me there, always my email for anyone that wants to reach out for business inquiries or just you want to talk is Cole Aldridge Gibson at gmail.com. ColeAldridgegibson at gmail.com. And I'm always open to people reaching out to me as well. And then if you reach out to me by email or any of those and you ask for a Discord invite, I can always invite you to my Discord. If you're interested in the Georgia State esports program, I can invite you into that Discord as well. So just hit me up and let me know anyone out there.
Awesome, awesome, and we'll make sure to link all that as well in the description in case if anybody's looking for it. But I mean, with that, Cole, just thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on, man. It was a really good time.
Oh, absolutely. And also thanks to everybody for watching. You can find us on YouTube by searching the Game House, Haus, in case if you forgot, and the same on Facebook and Twitter. Links will be below for those of you watching on YouTube. And we hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching this episode of Dorm Chats. And from our house to yours, we'll see you next time.